Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How has your day been? How was the holiday? Happy Independence Day. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had some sort of rest. Right. All right. Today we're going to be talking about the CIA charge and least privilege principle. Right. So let's get to it. Right. What's our objective? Number one is to understand the importance of the CIA triad and the least privilege principle in information security. Number two is to identify and explain different types of threats to confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So number one, have you heard about the CIA? Have you heard about the CIA? I mean, I think we might have heard about it in movies, right? When we are watching movies and say, the CIA, you understand? But that's what the CIA we are talking about today. We're talking about about a different kind of CIA. So let's get to it. So, what exactly is the CIA triad? So, the CIA triad is a model that describes the three core objectives of information security. What are the three core objectives? We have confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It is used to guide organizations in developing and implementing security programs to protect their data and system. So, how do I put it now? So, the CIA is the core of cybersecurity, one of the cores of information security, right? The CIA. So, CIA simply means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, confidentiality in the sense that what you want your data to be confidential. You don't want people that are not supposed to have access to your data to have access to that data. You understand? When you say something is confidential, it means that it's not for everybody. You understand? So your data, your business secret, the technology that you are using is not for everybody. The software that you even use is not for everybody. As a business personnel, even as individuals, not everybody that's supposed to know your date of birth. It's not everybody that's supposed to know your information. It's not for everybody. So that's confidentiality. Confidentiality in the sense is the sense of ensuring that your data, all the data that has to do with you, your organization, the systems in place, they are confidential. They are not for people that don't have access to those information. So that's confidentiality. Then we go for integrity. So when you say integrity, something that is upright, that is the same, the way like it's the same, right? It's how it's supposed to be. There's no touching, there's no variation. So integrity simply means that you want to be sure that if, for example, you receive a letter from someone, maybe you receive a letter from your friend. Integrity means that you are sure that the letter you got is exactly what your friend wrote. So the fact that nobody is changing the information in your data, that is called integrity. Then availability simply means that whatever data, whatever system, whatever application, if you are the rightful user, that is it being confidential. If it is the right content, that is it being in it having like integrity. It should be available to you whenever you need it. You understand? So availability simply means that you are making the system available. You are making the system there for people that have the right to use it. So it's not be like when you want to use it, it's not available. I would take, for example, we've been using an example of like an organization that they are in charge of booking flights for people. You get? So if you are aware that okay, these users are the right users, availability in the sense is that when they want to book flights, the website must be available to them to book the flights. Do you understand? So that's making sure that um that is availability in hindsight. So these things are the core of information security. Almost everything builds on this stuff, right? Almost everything builds on this. All right, next slide. All right, let me break it down. Let's go deeper. All right, confidentiality. Confidentiality refers to the protection of sensitive information from unauthorized access or disclosure. It's about keeping the data private and accessible to only those who have the proper permission. So in an organization, how would confidentiality look like? Let's say it's an organization that is in charge of um creating programs. Let's say event management organization, right? Confidentiality simply means that those that are doing the marketing, hmm? They say they are marketing, they are advertising, they don't have access to information about um finances. Obviously they will need information about finances in some way, but like the core detail information about finances, like how much a customer is paying, all this of those, that is only available for the financial department. You get? So confidentiality means that you are keeping the data private, even though you are in the same organization. Even though you are in the same organization, you are holding the data private. The data is not accessible for everybody. There is in an organization, there are information that everybody should know about, and there are information that is only those that are concerned with it should know about it. You get? So it's, even when it comes to an organization and the users or the customers, there's some sort of confidentiality. You will not go and tell a customer that this is what B customer is doing. You need to make them you need to make sure that the data is not accessible to someone that does not have that permission for it. You get? So that is very, very important. So what is the importance of confidentiality? Protecting privacy. Confidentiality safeguards private information like personal data, financial records for individuals and for organizations. Yes, people can use your private information for their own selfish purpose. Even as individuals, yeah, even meant to be confidential. I know, like the way it is, like people ask why you hiding it. For example, when somebody asks you your date of birth, why do you want to know? You can ask me for a birthday, I will tell you. But why you ask my date of birth? What are you using that year to do? Because most times people are susceptible to these things. Most time people use their year of birth as their pin for their ATMs. People do it. A lot of people do it. Their date of birth is what they are using. The year of their date of birth is what they are using for their pin. And so someone that is a social engineering person, for example, we talked last week about social engineering, they already have these statistics. So what they want to do is that they want to now make you say, so they will ask you, what's your birthday? You say your birthday. What year were you born? You say your year. They are recording so they can make use of it. Even your financial information is not something that is supposed to be spreading for everybody. Your NIN, if they don't need it, if they don't ask for it, don't give anybody. These are important information. These are information that somebody can gather about you and use to take loan in your name, and you will bear the consequences because it's what's in your name. You get? So personal details, financial records, even organizations too, they have to safeguard their information. Business secrets, for example, now I don't know, the time they were talking about KFC chicken, that KFC has a trademark on how they do their chicken to give it that KFC standard, you understand? So that's business secret, and that secret is not the secret that you want to tell people about. You understand? This is something that if someone find out, they might come and overtake your business. Do you get it? So that is number one importance, protecting privacy. Number two, we have ensuring compliance. It is crucial for meeting legal requirements, e.g., the GDPR, that is data protection, this thing, and then there's the HIPAA. This one is for health, that protects data privacy and security. So there are organizations that are in charge of compliance when it comes to cybersecurity. There are organizations that deal with compliance. I've told you guys about the fact that in cybersecurity there is a dedicated section for compliance, and that is called the GRC. So the GRC is a dedicated section for compliance. So risks and compliance. So they have regulations, right? So the GDPR, that is the General Data Protection Regulation, it's they have what they call it, they have rules and regulations that every organization should follow. You get, Nigeria has their own, right? Every organization has to follow it, unless you pay fine. And they're not doing it in a bad way, they're doing it to protect the citizens. Do you understand? To protect people. You understand? It's not like as though they just want to be suffering organizations. They brought out these rules so that they can protect the citizens, they can protect the customers of these organizations. So they give regulations on how they are supposed to handle people's data. And confidentiality is one of the very important things, because you have to ensure, for example, now medical records now, you have to ensure that medical records are private. You understand? Because somebody can use somebody's medical records to chance the person or to blackmail someone. You get? So let's say, for example, two people are trying to run for a CEO of a company, and there's this thing that they say that the health of the CEO is the health of the company. You understand? So maybe someone after that, this person had cancer at one point, right? Even though the person is recovered now, they will now go and use it as an edge so that they can be the ones to get the CEO position. Do you understand? So that is why people have to keep their data private. And compliance or the compliance body are out for them. Like if you don't comply, you will pay fine, and you pay fine in millions of dollars, because you have to pay fine. So the next point is preserving competitive advantage. Exactly what I was talking about. Business secrets. You get business secrets. So if your business had, even Nescafe, they had for this their what they call those their machines, those their coffee making machines. They it was like a business secret for them how they made their machines. Business secret. Those are the things that are giving you. That's why somebody will say, I don't like to buy any other fan apart from this brand. I don't like to buy any other this thing apart from this brand. It's because these brands have competitive advantage. So if, for example, your business secret is out there in the open, nobody else can look at it, be more innovative, create their own that better pass your own. And that's it, you start losing customers. Before you know it, your business will go under. You understand? So that is why this confidentiality is very important in organizations. It's like a very huge, especially um cybersecurity organizations. It's a very very huge crime if you pass data from one if there's a data that is supposed to be kept in house and it goes outside and it was a an employee that did it, they will para. In fact, they can even sack you, suspend you. Very important. There's also MSSPs. MSSPs are organizations that are um they're in charge of providing cybersecurity services for other organizations. So let's say, for example, now we have 10 banks, and these 10 banks, if you say you want to build your own personal security and alerting department, it will cost money, more money. But then you know that there's another organization that their own work is to be looking at your environment and ensuring that hackers don't get in. So for this MSSP, confidentiality is very important, because you are going to be managing different, let's say for example, there is Zenith Bank, there is First Bank, there is UBA. All those three banks, you are managing their security. By mistake, if you share maybe UBA's data by mistake and it enters Zenith Bank now have access to UBA's data, you've caused a huge problem. Zenith Bank or UBA, one of them can even sue you, the MSSP, because you say you're not careful. That's how confidentiality is very important. You get? And we have building trust. Organizations keep information confidential. So organizations that keep information confidential earn trust from customers, stakeholders, and fostering positive relationship and reputation. Very true. When people see that you're a trustworthy organization, that your information is not out there in the open, people will trust you more. You understand? People will trust you more. People want I want to do business with this organization. They are very careful. Do you understand? Then what are the threats to confidentiality? So threats to confidentiality simply means that what are the things that can affect confidentiality. What are the things that when it happens, you would no longer have your data confidential anymore? So number one, we have unauthorized access. This occurs when individuals gain access to sensitive information without proper authentication. So unauthorized access means that, let's say someone does not have access to this information, but then they now get that information. Let's say um we have, let's use CBN for example now. Let's say there's inside gist in CBN that they want to um give out a contract for something. Let's say they want to give out a contract to people that will build a sock for them, or they are trying to create like a unified currency something. You understand? Things happen, and somebody that does not have access to information will now find that through small entry, tell me now, tell me now. You now find that that's unauthorized access, because that information that's supposed to be confidential, that not everybody's supposed to know about it, is now there. Then someone now gonna make it trend on Twitter. So that's uh, so this thing can happen when there is weak access control. For example, let's say you're a warehouse store, right? There's one very, which brand? Fenty, no, that one you guys don't know Fenty. Let's say everybody wants one particular kind of laptop. It's a very nice laptop, you understand? Alienware, very confirmed laptop, you get. Everybody wants that laptop. And then you're a warehouse organizer, you're a warehouse this thing. And then you're able to access the laptop wholesale price. You've gathered it somewhere. Then unauthorized access means that somebody that's, maybe you don't have good access control on the doors. Maybe somebody has to, you not implement the door in a way that somebody has to use a card to enter inside. So maybe your competitor or a thief, you understand, will now have access to those laptops that you dropped there, and can now come and steal everything. You now come the next day and be crying. Why? Because you don't implement the right access control. And we have password bridges. For example, in an organization where their what they call it, their employees are using simple passwords like 1 2 3 4 5, passwords like admin 1 2. You know, so those very very simple passwords, right? That can allow unauthorized access, because when they want to do something called a brute force attack, simply means that um it simply means that the when the attacker does not have like your password or anything, but keeps trying different password until he gets that your password. So that's brute force attack. So when somebody wants to do a brute force attack, they usually use common passwords. There is a list on Wikipedia about commonly used password. You understand? And people still make use of it up to today. People don't see a word. Then we have social engineering attacks. So this is when the attacker will make the employee rather, voluntarily give up information. You understand? Let's say you guys are planning a campaign, it's still on the low key. You guys are still like requesting for funds, right? And the attacker just put a call, pretend to be an IT organization trying to help you, pretend to be an IT support person trying to help you with maybe your laptop issues, and before you know it, steal all the information about the campaign you guys have been working hard for. You get? So unauthorized access can be through any means, right? It can be through weak access control. If you don't implement correct access controls on doors, even when it comes to even sharing files in an organization, it's not everybody that should have access to the file. You can do folder by folder access. You understand? You don't have to give everybody. It will be the fact that we're in the same organization does not mean that everybody should have the same access. We get. So number two is data theft. Criminals may steal confidential data from for financial gain or to exploit it in various ways. There was a time, this at the beginning of this year, the beginning, around May, I don't know whether it was March, April, May, around that time, somebody was trending on Twitter and on LinkedIn that he was able to hack into banks' information, and that it was on yeah, on the dark web or so. I don't remember the full gist, but they stole financial information. They either used to blackmail the financial institution. They will tell you, give me what I want or we'll post everything. You understand? And if they post everything, the bank would have to pay a lot of fine because a lot of people are going to sue the bank. They will lose a lot of customers. In fact, the bank can go bankrupt. You understand? So the person would, because when they steal this data, what usually happen when they steal financial data is that they take it to the dark web and sell it to the highest bidder. So the highest bidder might not decide that, okay, what I want to do is I want to do fraud with these people's details. You understand? Or they'll post it online. When they post it online, people can use it for anything. And after they use it for anything, the organization will be sued for it because you not keep your data well. Why did they steal it from you? You understand? Number two, we have data leaks. Data can unintentionally leak through various channels such as email or cloud storage due to misconfiguration, human error, or malware. So data leaks, for example, now it's like when you guys are, let's say, in an organization, you guys are planning, let's say in a law firm, you guys are planning for one very hot case like that. You guys already have what you want to use to as your offense, right? Your offense. And then maybe as you are talking, you are doing your shalaye, you are doing amebo. You understand? Somebody else now find out that, okay, this is what you guys want to use as offense. They will now go and tell the opponent so that they can prepare for their defense. If they didn't know you were coming, they would have been able to prepare for their defense. But because through human error, you understand, maybe you were gisting with your friends, maybe there was a misconfiguration. For example, now let's say you're supposed to store a particular data in the cloud, you just configured it anyhow or somehow, and then the data ended up going to another person's server. You understand? Or then there's malware. You get? So data leakage everywhere. And when data leaks, a lot of times it ends up with people being sued because many individuals don't like their data to be out there in the open. We get? Then we have insider threat. This one this is why when employers don't treat their employees right, they I especially in this Nigeria, they should really thank their God that people don't really, how do I put it, really take this insider check very seriously in Nigeria. Yeah, there are cases, of course. Recently, there was even a case of an insider threat. There are cases like that, but so in the insider threat simply means that when, let's say, the employee is upset, they are angry, they don't like the way the organization is going, maybe they not treat them right, or they're just bitter. You understand? So they intentionally go and leak sensitive information. Let's say your organization is trying to close a $600 million deal, right? The This individual can now go and spill the tea somewhere else, and then somebody else will come and take over that deal. You understand? So most of the time they are motivated for financial gain, revenge, or negligence. So financial gain in the sense that they want to make money. They can even do ransomware and come and be crying that they got attacked, but it is them. You understand? They are the ones that are doing the ransomware on the organization. You understand? They are motivated by financial gain. They want to make money. Especially banking officials. Yes, banking officials. So especially those that work with knowing how much the bank makes, the financial guys, they can plan a coup. They plan a coup on how to steal the money. You get? They'll plan, oh, we'll use this virus. So when everybody is running helter skelter for this virus, we'll now move the money. You understand? Then we can all blame it on the virus or the malware that has happened. Do you understand? So that's just how they do. And then there is negligence. They're not serious with their work. They're just doing anything, anyhow. And that is how they can cause information to be given to an unauthorized personnel. Then the last one we have eavesdropping. Attackers they intercept communication to capture confidential information during transmission. This is especially common in unsecured public Wi-Fi networks. So this issue can happen where, let's say, an employee now is in a cafe, right, and they are using free Wi-Fi. See, if anybody tell you free Wi-Fi, don't connect. I feel like I want to say it like 100 times, because we're like in Lagos, as you're moving on the road, there are a lot of free Wi-Fi's around, especially some really nice places. Free Wi-Fi, it's government. Don't connect. Because sometimes it's not government. There's was someone that was just to me about how they wanted to test something, and so what the guys did was that there's this place in I can't remember where it is in Lagos, but let me just call it a random place. Let's say there's a place called Satellite Town now in Lagos or in another state, and let's say the Town state governor decided to do free Wi-Fi and called the Wi-Fi Satellite Town. So what the attacker did was that he created a free Wi-Fi and called the Wi-Fi Satellite Town 2 or Satellite Town 1. So when he called it that, and people don't even care, it's free, there's no password, people just click on it and connect. And that's how he was able to gather a lot of information. You understand? He was just trying to test something, and it worked. The word is enough for the wise. Don't be using free Wi-Fi. If you don't have data, don't come online. It's better that you don't come online than for you to now use free Wi-Fi and get yourself into trouble. You understand? And very importantly, I would never advise people to be using free Wi-Fi to do important things like transferring of money, all those things, because it can be intercepted. The attacker will be listening to the conversations that you have. Let's say you are sending 100k to this account. The attacker can see how much you are sending, um the app you are using, or the link you are using to send it. Like everything, things, a lot of things can be intercepted. So just safe and sound. Don't use free Wi-Fi. You understand? All right, we have controls to protect confidentiality. So how can we protect confidentiality? Number one, encryption. Use special codes to make data unreadable without with the right key. This keeps your data confidential even if someone unauthorized tries to access it. So encryption simply means that you use codes, right, to make your data unreadable. So in the sense that if somebody intercepts your data, if somebody sees that information, they can't read it, right, unless they have the right key. There is this, I'm not sure if you guys will be doing cryptography in this class, but there's a part of cybersecurity called cryptography where you can learn how to do encryptions. So basic encryption is like doing let's say all your A's, you replace all your A's with E when you are sending information. That's just normal manual ones. But like a more technological advanced one is that you use encryption keys to encrypt your data, so that if someone that is unauthorized have access to your data, it will be looking like gibberish for them. Number two, we have access control. Set up strong rules for who can access important information. This includes using role-based access, that is, deciding who can do what, and two-factor authentication, which is making sure people are who they say they are. So, access control, in the sense that we need to decide who has the right, who has the authority to do these things. Let's say, for example, you want to delete users. Who has the right to delete users in this organization? And you can say, okay, the people that are admins have the right. So you can create a role called the admin role, and then you can add people to that role and say, okay, if you are admin, only if you are admin that you can delete users. Then two-factor authentication means that when somebody wants to delete a user, we now ask the person, are you the admin? They say yes. Say provide evidence. Did I use your thumbprints? Maybe you are assigned, admins have all thumbprinted and you use their thumbprints to save them as admin. Or they provide a certain administrative password. Do you understand? There are some time, there been a time where you want to do something on your laptop and it will ask you for a password, for your password, like your actual password. Or maybe when you want to see, they will just ask for your password basically. Or maybe when you want to see a special details on your phone, right? Your phone asks you for your pin, or to ask you for your drawing, the stuff you used to you draw to have access to it. You understand? So that's two-factor authentication, because people can say that they are this, but can you confirm that this is who they are? You understand? And number three, we have security policies. Create and enforce rules that explain how to handle, store, and send confidential data. So if you don't create rules, people will not know what to do. You understand? So you have to create rules that, okay, all financial data, these are how financial data is supposed to be handled. These are how customer data are supposed to be handled. These are how normal, like everyday data are supposed to be handled. You understand? This goes in line with data classification. So with data classification, you have to classify how sensitive a data is. Data exposure don't like data, like, how do I put it now? Let's say for example, customers information are exposed on the internet, and let's say the the number of cars that a CEO has is exposed on the internet. Even though the CEO wanted to keep that private, it does not, the, how do I put it, the gravity of the situation are two, they are different. So if the number of cars that the CEO had wanted to keep it private and it got exposed on the internet, they would just be batching him and that's all. But let's say consumer data, their name, their address, all this vital information, they are exposed on the internet because of the organization's negligence. They would not just only drag the organization, they will sue them. Do you understand? So you have to classify how sensitive a particular data is. You need to know that, okay, we are putting our best swords, our best technology to protect this data. While this other data was just there. If people find out, we don't want them to find out, but if they find out, that's okay. Then we have a employee training. We need to explain to the employees rather, how important it is to keep information confidential. You need to explain them so that it can reduce accidental data. You need to tell them you can't do this. When you are gisting with your family members about what is going on in your office, these are information that you should not tell them. Don't tell them this information. Yes, so gisting is sweet, but don't tell them this information, because this information is important. I can never tell. It might not be your family members that will cause the problem. It might be somebody that is just there, that is hearing it, that will cause the problem for the organization. So you need to train the employees. So it's very important. Employee training is very important. In fact, organizations are supposed to have at least once a month. Excuse me. At least once a month, organizations are supposed to have trainings, right? Cybersecurity trainings at least once a month. Then we have intrusion detection and prevention system. So use special system to watch for suspicious activities on your network. They can stop or warn about things that might hurt your data confidentiality. So there's something called intrusion detection system. So it can detect when maybe an intruder is coming in or something like that. And then we have the data loss prevention. So basically, there are data loss prevention tools that can help you monitor your data, the going in and data that are going in and out of your organization. Let's say for example now, maybe there's a particular server that sends out, like, let's say 10 gigabytes of data every day. That's what the organization is doing, sending out 10 gigabytes of data every day, the server rather. So then one day you just realize that this server is sending out 30 gig of data, 50 gig of data. Why? Every day you used to send 10. So what's happening today? So that will now spark up investigation. Do you get that? That will spark up investigation. You will now go and investigate. All right, what is going on? We get. So this is about confidentiality. So let's move. So we are going to integrity now. So integrity refers to the accuracy, consistency, and trustworthiness of data and information. It refers to the accuracy. How accurate is this data? Is this data true? Consistency. You understand? How consistent is this information? Like, is it consistent with the last information that we got? Then number three, trustworthiness. Can you trust this data? You understand? It ensures that data remain unaltered and reliable throughout its life cycle, from creation to storage and transmission. So what the intent of the person that created this data should be the intent when the data is being stored, when data is being transmitted from one person to another or from one form to another. You understand? So what are the importance of data of integrity? Number one, data trustworthiness. Organizations and individuals rely on accurate data for making informed decisions. Ensuring that the integrity of data helps maintain trust in information system. But that trustworthiness simply means that, can you trust this data? Is this data really what it says it is? And for example, a lot of organizations make use of data for decision making. Let's say you are an organization that sell clothes for men and female, and you realize that with the data that you are gathering, that okay, the female clothings are doing well in Abia State, while the men clothings are doing well in Abuja. So you now decide that okay, I want to channel my energy to give out more female clothes in Abia and more male clothes in Abuja. But what if the data was tampered and the information was exchanged? You realize that you maybe the information was opposite of each other. The female clothes are doing well in Abuja, while the male clothes are doing well in Apia. And that is how we now make decisions. And we now say, okay, from now on, we are sending more male clothes to Abia. While normally the data should have shown you that the clothes are doing well, male clothes are doing well in Abuja, but it did it because it was tampered with. So the next time when such a thing happen and there's a lot of backlash, next time you receive that data again, you will not be able to trust it to make your decision. And that's what we're talking about, data trustworthiness. You want to be able to trust that whatever information is in this data is the right information. And when I use this information to make decisions about this organization, we are going to get good results. So that is data trustworthiness. Then we go to the next one, which is preventing data tampering. So without integrity measures, data can be altered maliciously or unintentionally, leading to incorrect conclusion or potential disastrous outcome, like what I explained. If the data is tampered with, you would, especially when we don't have integrity measures placed, right? Whether the data is tampered with maliciously or unintentionally, right? It can lead to wrong conclusions. Then there is the legal and compliance requirements. So we're talking about these bodies, these compliance bodies. They are very important too, because they're trying to save us. They're trying to save us, the customers, right? So there are information that need to have integrity. Child health information, integrity. If we are saying that it is this fruit that is causing this ailment, it must be true. Do you get? It must be true. You know how when we are young that they will say too much of this cause this, or every time there's always a new wave. It's like with African mothers. Don't drink too much water. I drink too much water. I drink water. Don't do this one. I do this one. This is what is causing this sickness. And even during COVID time, there's a lot of speculations. You understand? So integrity means that you are sure that this data is true, it's accurate. You understand? And law enforcement, all this compliance body, are in charge of ensuring that, because you don't want to yeah, it's very important. Let's say, for example, you're an organization that spread health information. There was a time that they were saying that you need to use salt and water to bath for, I don't know whether it's to help COVID or something else. Using salt and water to bath. Let's say you are that organization, you not verify information, you just carry it, wow, go and put it in your newsletter to your customers, and the WHO, that's the World Health Organization, and health bodies now come and say that this information is wrong. They can sue you. These compliance bodies will sue you. You will pay fine. You understand? Because you have a duty, right, to provide data that are accurate as an organization to your customers. Then, importance of integrity, we have maintaining reputation. Understand, data breaches or instance of data manipulation can severely damage an organization's reputation and erode customers and stakeholders' trust. So, if, for example, now you had a data breach where your data was manipulated, you get customers will less likely trust you, or you'll be losing trust of customers. You understand? Then you have data consistency. Data consistency is crucial for application and database to function correctly. Inconsistent data can lead to error and system failures. Let's say, for example, a financial institution, in your database, your money is stored as numbers, but maybe somebody attacks your organization and change the money, like the way the finances are stored, to text. This can now lead to error when the database is trying to read, when like the application is trying to read from database. It can cause error, and then you'll be wondering why is this thing not working? Why is this system down? Why is this system down? Because somebody has tampered with the consistency of the data, how the data is supposed to be. You get? So let's go to threats. What are the threats to integrity? We have number one, data tampering. So malicious actors can alter data to misrepresent information or gain unauthorized benefits. This includes altering financial records, grades, or medical records. So we have data tampering. Data tampering simply means that the data is being modified, right? It's not meant to be modified, but somebody is modifying the data, right? So when somebody modifies the data, your integrity has been threatened. You understand? And the data they can manipulate are things like financial record, grades. Very important. There are high school students that try to manipulate their grades from a C to an A. And maybe they also try to manipulate people they don't like from an A to a C. It depends. And there's medical records. Then number two, about the second threat that we can see to integrity, we have malware. Sometimes, right, malwares, viruses, worms, they can corrupt the data. Let's say you have a very important document in your very important Word document. Maybe you want to you are creating a proposal for a very good investment, and your laptop gets infected with virus. By the time you open that Microsoft Word, you start seeing Chinese, or you start seeing all these sign, dollar sign, and the rest. Your data has been corrupted. The integrity of the data is no longer there again. Then we have human error. Accidental data alteration can occur due to mistake during data entry, manipulation, or migration. So something happened in school, right? There was a girl. She did really well during her IT defense and everything, but she finished. So when the result came out, she got a C, and then she was quite upset. She was like, "There's no way she could have gotten a C." You understand? Either she got a C or she got an F, one of the above, right? And then she was really, really upset. So she tried, she talked to them that there's no way, there's no way. She did really well, you understand? And so they were going back to look at it, and you realize that on the spreadsheet that spreadsheet document, somebody made a mistake. So I don't even know what. Sure, the person ended up typing something else, maybe a letter. You understand, a letter. So usually with Excel, you have to do some sort of calculations. So because the person typed something, the calculation was not complete, and that was the reason why she got the score she got. Human error. You understand? Human error happens all the time. So we have to, these are the threats to integrity. And we have unauthorized access. If someone that is not authorized has access to a system or a database, they can modify data. You understand? Then we have data interception. Attackers can intercept data during transmission and modify it before it reaches the intended recipients. For example, now during the war period, I know that this was one of the skills that they used to win the war. So you say, oh, let's attack at noon, but then the attacker, the opponent intercepts this data and change the noon to 2 p.m. or change the noon to 10 a.m. Say let's attack 10 a.m. and they will come earlier, right? Let's say the two opposites, let's say we have side A and side B. Side A has told, the commander of side A has told A that let's attack at noon, let's meet at this place at noon. But B intercepted that data and told the A side that no, it's by 10 a.m. So the A side will now go by 10 a.m. and B people will already be gathering around waiting for them. You understand? That's data interception. So you go, the data is intercepted, you go ahead and pass the wrong information. For example, attackers can do this with financial transfers. Let's say you are transferring money now, you're transferring like 100k to somebody. The attacker can intercept it and change the account of the recipient, change the account and change it to his own account, so that the money will end up going to his account rather than the person you're supposed to send the money to. These things happen. So the last one is hardware failure. So hardware failure such as disk error or memory corruption can result in data corruption if not adequately addressed. So hardware failures. Hardware is like, you know how we use everything is hardware. You are using laptop, you are using your hard disk to store data. You understand? So if that hard disk has issues, your data can be corrupted. You understand? Your data can be lost. So controls to integrity, we have data validation. The data validation checks for accuracy when it is entered, preventing invalid or harmful data from being accepted. So data validation simply means that you want to check that this is the right thing that you're supposed to put in. There's this thing called SQL injection. Maybe you guys can look into it later. SQL injection. So SQL injection simply means that when you are writing SQL code, let's say for example now I ask what is your date of birth or what is your name on your form, and I'm using SQL to load, I'm using SQL to configure everything, and then you now input an SQL code that will pull out information from the database. And because I'm not doing data validation, I am not checking that this is the right data you're supposed to put in here. When you now put in that code and you send it, it will run it and give you the information that you want. People have been using SQL code from a very long time ago. So data validation simply means that you are checking that if I say give me your name, you're not going to give me your phone number. You understand? So the data validation in regards to, for example, if you are giving out the form, you are writing name, number, email. So the validation in the sense that if the person writes a number, it will show invalid information. You understand? Until you put alphabets. And some data validation even did such a way that you cannot even put one letter or two letters. I think from 3 and above. You get. If I say give me your Gmail, give me your mail rather, I would make sure that data validation make sure that that at is there. At something.com is there. That is data validation. If I say give me your phone number, I want to make sure that that plus something 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 is in front. So that's data validation. I want to make sure that you're not giving me your name as your phone number. That's data validation. Then we have something called digital signatures. It verifies the authenticity. Sorry, forgive me. And integrity of the digital document using cryptographic signature to confirm data hasn't been altered. So data signature simply means that each data has a signature, and with that signature you can confirm whether okay this data has not yet been altered. So there is something called checksum and hash functions. This ensures data integrity by generating unique values for data. Any changes will result in a different value. So checksum and hash function simply means that, let's say for example I send you a letter and the letter says that meet me at noon, right? If for example somebody intercepts that data, rather than putting noon they put 12 um 2 p.m., the hash value of the data will change. So once you realize that, oh, this value has changed, this hash value has changed, you just know that okay, this one has been touched. You might not exactly know what exactly was adjusted, but you already know that I can disregard this information because this value some values has been changed here. You get. Then we have access control. Access control is very important even for confidentiality. Access control was there. You get. Access control is extremely important because with access control you can prevent people that don't have access to touch from touching your information. It limits access to important system and data to authorized users to prevent unauthorized manipulation, unauthorized modification. So you are making sure that only people that have access to a specific data are the ones that have access. You get. You don't just say everybody have access to this data. No. And number 5, we have regular backup. So you are backing up the copies of your data to secure it from data tampering, from data losses. So if your data was tampered, you can be able to go back to when the data was not tampered. If you lose your data, you have backup to recover the data that you lost. You understand? Then we have change management. Set up processes to monitor and control alterations to systems and data to prevent unauthorized changes. So you're going to set up the monitoring controls, right? You're going to set up systems in place that will prevent people from doing unauthorized changes. For example, now let's use Google Sheets for example. Let's say you're working with some people, right? They need you to provide some pertinent information to them on Google Sheets, but they don't need to really make edits to that sheet. So what will you do? You will only give them the viewing privilege on Google Sheets. You don't need to give them collaboration access or editor access. Do you understand? Because you know that all they need to do is just see. They don't need to do anything. So that's why you reduce it. So that is putting change manager. You're putting monitoring controls in place. You get. Then we have the audit trail. So you keep track of all your logs. So keep detailed logs of all data changes and access to sensitive information, and regularly reviewing suspicious activities. So audit trail simply means that you're keeping logs of the data that is changing. And when you see something that doesn't look right, something that doesn't look good, you go and investigate. Then very important. See, there are two things that always shows up. That is access control and training and awareness. Those two things cannot be overemphasized. So we have educate employees for best practice for integrity, data integrity, and potential consequences of data tampering. So you need to educate them that this integrity we're talking about, we mean business, is very important. Train them on this. We can even do like a simulation, right, where you show them, okay, when data changes, when you change this data like this is what you should do. You understand? Very important. Training is very important, because one thing is that knowledge is power, right? If you don't train them, how would they know? You get. So we are going to the next one, which is availability. Availability is the next one. So availability refers to ensuring that information and information system are accessible and operational when needed by authorized users rather. So the goal of availability is that if I am the right user of this application, I want to be able to use this application when I need to be able to use application, and I don't want to be interrupted. What are the importance? Number one, business continuity. Organizations rely on the continuous availability of critical systems and data to maintain operation. Downtime can lead to financial losses and reputational damage. So organizations, they need their critical systems to be available, their servers to be available. Maybe customer server information, their banking app servers. You understand? They need all these things to be available. You get. So availability is very important because we need to that for business continuity. You get. Sometimes a downtime in a server can cause the organization money to lose money, a lot of money, trying to fix it, something like that. And reputational damage. If you are that bank that is always having no service, everything no service, no service, no service, morning, afternoon, and no service, people will be going, because I will be a bank, I cannot use your mobile app to transfer money. So if you hook me, that's how I'll be stranded. Is that what you're telling me? People will go. And there's user satisfaction. Users expect services and data to be readily available. You understand? So when information is not there, when the server is not there, it leads to frustration. We talk about this financial institution and their bank apps. So if I want to transfer money, there's something that happened to me recently. I wanted to transfer money to someone, and that was the day that my bank decided that I have a problem. I will not transfer. It will not work. And so I tried this so many times. I even thought that they're going to debit me, because the amount of times I tried it, but they don't debit me, so I'm very grateful. Oh my god! But seriously, it just makes you frustrated as a customer or as a user. So availability is very important, so that you can have your user satisfaction. So that when they are rating you online, not be dragging you on Twitter, not be dragging you, not be dragging you and your destiny. You understand? Then number three rather, is emergency response. Availability is critical in emergency situations where timely access to data and system can be a matter of life and death, such as the healthcare or public safety. So in the healthcare, the military field, availability is of very high importance. If there's an emergency situation and the ambulance, it's difficult for you to get the ambulance, that's a very serious something. If there's emergency situations, and then the system where they can access the what they call this, the patient's information is not there. Try when somebody rushes to they rush someone to a hospital, right? And let's say this is a patient, that everybody knows, right? You need to check the record of what they are allergic to in some way before you can now minister like the health service to that customer, to that patient. And they say now the EDR system, sorry, the management system, the record system rather, yes, the record system is doing somehow, does not want to own, or the thing is showing blank page. That is a very big problem. So availability is important because we need things to be available during emergency response. Then we have business advantage. The reason why some people will never use some certain banks is because of this. There are banks in this country, Nigeria, that have the reputation. They have a reputation. Say, if you're using this bank, just like you're going to sleep in the bank because you're always going there every day because they're always debiting you for no reason. You're always going there every day because when you send money, the money will not go. You have to go there again. They not tell you that you should wait for 24 hours. There is a bank, as I'm talking now, I'm sure that a bank has come to your mind that almost every time you transfer money from that bank, you're using that bank to another person, there is always a wait time. You wait, you'll be waiting. Then we have service level agreements. Many organizations have contractual obligation to provide certain level of availability, and failure to meet these SLAs can result in financial penalties. So as financial institution, as healthcare institution, as a military, as a technological organization, you will have an agreement that, okay, let's say you say you are providing 24-hour service and you're only giving us 10 hours out of a 24-hour service. You can be sued for that, especially if it's now a very important service like healthcare, and we have compliance body in charge of that service you're supposed to provide. You will pay fine. As an organization, you will pay fine. All right, so what are the threats to availability? Threats to availability. So number one, we have distributed denial of service attacks. This is DDoS. So this is when an attacker floods a system, a network, or a service with traffic to overwhelm its capacity, causing it to become unavailable to legitimate users. So it's like saying, let's go back to our flights organization, flight booking organization. Maybe during Christmas period is the time where body dey hot, everybody wants to travel, you understand? And now this flights, let's say there's an attacker that has been meaning them since and said that this December people will not sell, people will not make money. And what does he do? He will start sending traffic. Let's say he will have like 10,000, maybe he's using like an API or something that will be going to that website, going there, which will now make the website slow, make the web server slow. And the people that actually want to book the ticket, book the flight, cannot be able to book it because it's not working, it's slow, it keeps loading. You understand? So that's what it's, that is denial of service attack. Is making the system unavailable for the users by overflooding it with traffic. So that can even damage the server. Maybe the server has capacity to handle 10,000 users at once, and the attacker is sending 1 million traffic that imitates user activities. The server will crash. There is no two way about it. The server will crash. Then we have natural disaster. Events such as earthquake, flood, fire can physically damage data centers and infrastructures, leading to extended downtime. So people that have data centers, such as people like Amazon, Google, if by mistake now, the way, I don't know if you guys know Amazon AWS, so it's called Amazon Web Service. So they provide organization virtual space to store their data. For example, now let's say you're an organization and you have data, like let's say they'll be using a 10 terabytes hard drive to store all you guys information, but your company keeps increasing and everything. You people have videos, you guys have files, you guys have all these things, and you need space, but you don't want to keep on buying and buying. What you can do is that you can buy it online. So this these data centers would have the physical servers with the physical spaces, right? While all you have to do is to connect, and then you can save your information in their physical space. So when natural disaster happen, and let's say God forbid it go and burn one of Amazon's data server, Do you know how many people will lose their data? Do you know how many companies will lose their data? But obviously, hopefully, they will have backup. But for a long period of time, a lot of companies will be feeling the effects. Then we have hardware failure. Components like hardware, monitor, power supplies can fail unexpectedly and result in system unavailability. So let's say your hard drive fell down and that's the end. Or let's say NEPA was playing tricks with you and went to go and overload the lights, and then it burnt your laptop. Sorry, but these things happen. And or it burnt your server rather, and data is no longer available. You don't have that data anymore. Your customers will start crying. I'm dragging you on Twitter. That's what happens. Now we have software failures, things like bugs, vulnerability, software errors can cause system to crash or malfunction. So bugs, let's say your developer finished creating code, but there are just some things that are there that are causing issues. Maybe miscoding. You are not coding it well. So these are things that cause the system to be unavailable. Then we have network failures. So people like MTN, Blow, they decide that they're having issues, and maybe the people that you usually use for your network services is MTN. Once they have issues, let's say they have issues and all MTN networks are down, you can't service your clients, you can't service your customers anymore, because not all your customers be using MTN like you. Some of them might be using another thing like Airtel. You understand? So they would have access to your system anymore because your own network provider is down. You get? That's why you need to have two of different kinds. If let's say your main network provider is MTN, the redundant should be another person, not the same MTN, not MTN brand redundant. You understand? That's why you're supposed to have two. Then we have human error. Accidental misconfiguration, deletion, or mistakes by employees can lead to system downtime. So there was a time that I was working on something with someone, and by mistake they deleted backup. God, they deleted backup. Thank God it was backup that anyway, even though it's not even thank God it was backup. Anyway, it's true, thank God it was backup, because we had to restart the backup again. But they deleted backup. If it was the main system that they deleted, the main data, the current data, would have had to now start trying to do a backup. You understand? So human errors, and it's by human beings, we always make errors. So that's it. Then we have cyber attacks. So apart from DDoS attack, other forms of attack like ransomware, data breach can corrupt system and make them unavailable. So a lot of cyber attacks like ransomware. When an organization is attacked by ransomware, their data will be unavailable because they are encrypted by the attacker, and the attacker wants money. So things like that. A lot of things can cause unavailability, or can be a threat to the availability of systems, of services, of data for individuals and both for organizations. So we have controls to protect availability. So we have redundancy. So redundancy entails backing up, right? So have backup for critical systems and components like servers, power supplies. If one fail, there's a backup to keep things running. So redundancy says that you have a backup. Then we have load balancing. So to prevent overloading, right? Let's say your you have a web server where everybody can come and book their flights, but you know that during Christmas period the traffic there will be plenty. So what will you do? You have another server that will balance the load. So let's say your capacity is, let's say during Christmas you have 100,000 people. Rather than just having just one server, you have 50,000 here, 50,000 here. It will make both of them last longer. Then we have disaster recovery planning. This is very important. You have to plan for disaster. So you plan that If fire happens, what can we do? You understand? If flood happens, what can we do? If we get attacked, what can we do? How do we recover? How do we recover quickly from these attacks? You understand? Then we have backup systems. So regularly save copies of data and systems so you can restore them quickly if there are hardware failures, data problems, or cyber attacks. So you need to back up systems. For example, now, in companies now, they hardly back up, like, when companies give you a laptop, they hardly back up what is on the individual laptop that they give to people. You understand? But they have to learn to back those things up as well. Then we have patch management. So this is about keeping your system and software up to date, right, with security fixes to reduce risks of vulnerability. So as developers keep bringing out new things in their products, you need to keep updating it. For example, Windows now, I know that there's something called Patch Tuesday. I think Windows bring out patches every Tuesday, right, to patch up whatever issue they encounter, whatever issue they are encountering. So always keep your this thing up to date, keep your softwares up to date, keep your system up to date. You understand? There's monitoring and alerts. So use different tools to watch. We talked about this before, where you can use intrusion detection tools to be watching, monitor the logs. You understand? So that in case you see something that is not looking right to you, you can quickly respond before it causes your system to be unavailable. Then we have network security. Protect against network threats like DDoS, that's the denial of service attacks, with systems that can detect and prevent intrusion. Yes, exactly. So you can use a network filter, right, to filter out traffic. So a network filter can see that, oh, this one is coming from a malicious site, so it will drop those traffics. You understand? So that only the ones that are coming from your customer will access your web server. Then we have the employee trainings. Train your employee. This one has come up like 3 times. It's very important to train people. And the thing is that you can train them once, but you have to keep training them. You can't just train them once and go away. You have to keep training them, because sometimes it requires people a longer period of time to understand a concept. You get to grasp the concept, to grab that, okay, this is the gravity of the situation that we are doing. You understand? Then we have cloud services. Use cloud services that have built-in backup and failover options to improve availability. People like AWS, as Amazon. We have Google Cloud Service. We have Microsoft Azure Cloud Service. Then we go over to least privilege principle. All right. So the least privilege principle is also known as principle of minimal privilege, and it states that users and systems should only be granted the minimum permission necessary to perform their tasks. This means that users should not have access to any more resources or data than they need to do their job. So how this works is that you assess, let's say for example, I am a receptionist. You assess, what are the things I need to do my job? I'm talking to people, welcome, welcome, welcome. I sign you in. Maybe I have access to signing in platform. You understand? Just little access. But me, least privilege means that you're not going to give a receptionist the access of the CEO's PA. Do you understand? Different access. Different access. That's least privilege for you. Is that it's stated that the minimum permission that somebody needs to do their job, that is what you should give them. Don't give just in case. If they need it, they should ask for it. You understand? Don't just say, oh, just in case they want to edit, just in case this. If they need to do it, let them ask for permission for it. But that's least privilege. Then the importance of least privilege, risk reduction. It lowers the risk of security breach by limiting users and systems privileges, reducing the chance of unauthorized access or malicious actions. So, risk reduction in the sense that if you observe the principle of least privilege, you know that there are certain things that can happen that you can say, okay, this person might have been the one to do it because this one that have the permission to do such a thing. You understand? So you're putting it, you're enforcing that someone that does not have this authority, this right, this access should not smell this thing. So that is least privilege, and that is how it reduce risks, because you've already put the things in place. So let's say, for example, now if you just left everything, you had like 80% of being breached. But once you put least privilege, the percentage of you being breached are reduced to like 50 or 40%. You understand? Then escalation prevention. If a breach occurs, it makes it harder for attackers to gain control of critical systems because they have limited access. Where this one is very important. Let's say, for example, now an employee got attacked, right? His username and password got compromised, and then an attacker has gotten in through his account. But the attacker realized that, okay, this person is just a normal staff, it's not in the C level, so it does not have critical information. This person is not an admin. So if I want to do anything to this particular firm, I need admin privileges. So by the time he realized all these things, he realized that he cannot perform the action that is above the person's account that he has used to access the system, this organization. So you can see that it's reducing privilege escalation. Then number 3 is data protection. By restricting access to sensitive data, it ensures that confidential information remains confidential. You understand? Preventing unauthorized exposure or tampering. So data protection ensures when you are using this privilege principle, you are ensuring that the sensitive information remains confidential. That if you don't have permission to see this thing, you won't see it. And there's compliance. Many frameworks, many compliance body requires organization to follow the least privilege principle, right, to protect data privacy and security. Then we have error minimization. So it helps prevent accidental data loss, changes, or misconfiguration by users who have more permission than they need for their roles. So for example, now we know that, okay, you are in the financial institution, and you're in the financial department, and you're working with people from marketing. All they need to see is just the quota, the financial quota, right? So they can plan accordingly. You don't need to give them permission to that document. That's all they need to see. You don't need to give them permission to the whole folder of the financial plans. Just that one that they need, the quota for the quarter. That's all they need. And you wish, so least privilege means that you will give them access to only see it, to only look at it, to only view. They cannot edit. You understand? So this can prevent somebody from going to go and press 0 where there is no 0, to go and add number where there is no number there. You understand? So why is least privilege important? How to implement the least privilege principle. Number 1, define roles and responsibility. In your organization, clearly outline, right, what are the roles and responsibility of some particular part of people. In fact, for everybody, tell them, okay, this is your role, this is what you will do. As a financial official, this is your role and this is what you do. As a CEO, this is your role and this is what you will do. And then explain to them that, okay, this is the permission that you need. You understand? Then number 2 is minimum permission. Give each role the least amount of access they need to do their job. Avoid giving them extra access, extra permission just in case. Yes, very important. Give them the minimum permission they need to do their job. If they need extra, they will request for it. Don't do just in case they need it, just in case they need that. Let them request for it. They are saving the organization. Then we have regular check permissions, right? So regularly review and update permission periodically to make sure that they make sense and remove any unnecessary or outdated access. Let's say, for example, now somebody is a developer in an organization. He has access to edit the codes and everything, but later he said that same organization that he wants to go into marketing, and the organization said that, come on, you are part of us, you can come into marketing department. His permissions to access code has to be taken away. Doesn't matter that he was coding before, because he had switched departments and he's no longer going to be coding anymore. His permission to alternate or to alter the codes should be removed. That is least privilege principle for you. You need to regularly check for permissions, update them. This person has left the company. Why does he have access to this? Why doesn't he have access to this? Remove them. Very important. Because sometimes you might not know nobody has access to something. Even when it comes to your applications on your phones, especially apps like Zenda, that to share ordinary file, they want to find out your location. When you are done using that file, using that application, remove those permissions. Very important. You need to check the permissions on your phone. How to check permissions on phone? You can Google it. How to check permissions on phone. What you do when you check permissions on phone, you now remove those ones that are not necessary. They are not necessary. Remove it. You get. Maybe they ask for your location. When you finish using the phone to do what you want to do, go and get your location permission, because why do they need it? Or one app be asking for your mic, your access to your file. But you are doing what you want to do. Once you are done, go and remove it. Regularly check for permissions. Sometimes you never know what permission that some apps are using against you. Alright, so the next one is use role-based access control. So now, what is role-based access control? Role-based access control means that, let's say, for example, we have administrators in an organization. It's not only going to be one person. Let's say we have like 4 administrators, people that handle how the network works, people that handle all these things. Rather than giving each 4 of these individuals permissions, okay, you can edit the network settings, you can edit the firewall configuration settings. No, what will you do? You will go and create a role in the organization where, like, there's a place where, for example, if you are using Azure, that is Microsoft web service, you can just go and create a role, give it all the permission you think that they need to do. Then once you finish creating that role, you will now add these users into that role. So if you remove somebody from that role, from the administrator role, they don't have the permission to do any of those things that they were doing before. So that is why we are saying use role-based access control. It makes it easier to control. You get? It makes it easier to control. Then we have accounts, group accounts. Oh my god, my battery is getting low. We have group accounts. I'll try to hurry up. We have group accounts. So group accounts, instead of setting permissions individually, use group accounts to grant access. This makes management easier and reducing the risk of giving too much access to individuals. So we have strong authentication. Make sure you use strong authentication. Keep the software updated. Monitor and audit. Training, very important. Training is very, very important. Then, very importantly, we need to do incident response plan. Do incident response plan. Plan what will happen if this thing happen. How do we handle it? We get. So these are examples of the CIA Triad. Real life example: confidentiality, data use. A bank use data encryption to protect customer data from unauthorized access. Integrity, hospital use electronic health records to ensure that patient data is accurate and up to date. So these are all these things. You can read them in the PowerPoint slide. So these are discussions. Have it among yourself. You get. and any questions. So please send your questions to this link, right? Make sure you send your questions to this link so that we can review it during our Friday or Saturday class. Then this is our assignment: create a diagram or infogram illustrating the CIA triad and the least privilege principle, and research and describe a notable CIA triad or least privileged cyber incidents. So you submit it to this link so that it's going to be easier for everybody. Thank you guys very much. All right, please, if you have any question, make sure you drop it. Okay, bye and have a wonderful day.